Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mike Kollin from the Church of Awesome. Alright, you guys ready? I've got to tell you something. It has been, how to explain this? A mixed marble, jar of marbles. Mostly really good. But the funny thing is, they came from a really almost terrifying, dark experience. I'll get to that in a second. So let's get to what this is about first. Oh, a quick message. I'm starting to put this out there. I realize I haven't really been advertising my coaching business. So I'm an NLP trainer, master hypnotherapist, timeline therapist, etc. Trained in Reiki, Huna, Pranic healing, etc., etc. So I've been doing it for a long time. One thing I want to let you know, whether it's narcissist abuse, healing coaching, or life coaching, or dating relationship coaching, I have periods where I'm awake at night for about 2 to 3 weeks, or even longer than that actually. So if you live on the other side of the world, Australia, New Zealand, the UK, or wherever, don't worry about it. We can schedule it when I'm up late at night, okay? And I will be wide awake, okay? Another quick mention is I wanted to thank Lisa. She's been joined our group, I'd say recently. She might have been with us for a while, but she's really been posting lately. And she gave me a huge donation. I don't even want to say how much. It was pretty impressive, to be honest with you. In fact, I think it is the largest donation I've received yet. Okay, I gotta say, it's $250. I was pretty impressed. In fact, at first I thought, oh, it's got to be a mistake, and I contacted her and said, hey, did you want to do coaching sessions, blah, blah. So anyways, I want to say thank you very much, Lisa. That was very, very kind of you. And just so you know, her name's Lisa Russo in her YouTube channel. So if you guys have noticed, you've probably seen her posting recently. And for those of you who want to make a donation, there's a PayPal link right there in the description box. Another way to support this channel real quick is to buy any of my men or women's dating and relationship coaching books. So the main one for men is Crack the Female Code. I do have 3 other books. And the Ultimate Package is what I really recommend because it's on a huge discount right now. But for women, it's Why Men Just Don't Get It. And then the other gold book is Every Woman's Battle, The Need for Love and Emotional Fulfillment. And just go to Mike Kollin, MikeKollin.com. Okay, so let me pull this up real quick. It says you disrespect yourself when you rekindle a relationship that humiliated you. Forgiveness is one thing, but you have to have boundaries. You can't always be nice. That's how people take advantage of you. You teach people how to treat you by deciding what you will and won't put up with. Sorry, it says won't accept. So I want to start out with this piece first, then lead to the other experiences. So the reason why that piece is so important is because a lot of empaths have a hard time saying no. And this is why and how narcissists take advantage of you. Now here's what's going on. There's a reason that you think that way, and you're like, well, I can't say no, I don't want to make him feel bad, etc., etc. There's something, if you haven't got there yet, you will. So I would rather you do it through this video than taking on years and years of damage. So there's something, if you are at a point now where you're still not just saying, hell no, get the hell out, bye. It's something that you don't understand yet, and I'm going to help you understand that through some examples. So number one, humans, we tend to see the world the way that we see it through our eyes, through our beliefs, through our values, and through our experiences. And most importantly, through who we are. Empaths are the kindest, most loving, honest, good-hearted people that will do anything for anybody, literally, how do they say it, like to a fault. And we're very, very trusting to a fault, and this is not a good thing. I would like to believe most of you on this channel have really developed a high level of discernment. Discernment means seeing people and things for who and what they are, period. No smoke screens, no fog, no, coloring it to make it look better. None of that. Just like, are they good? Are they bad? Did they lie? Did they tell the truth? Period. End of sentence. Discernment is also trusting your feeling, your gut feeling, the feelings that your body feels. And that is your intuition. Including when you suddenly get a really weird image in your mind of danger or something dark, or this movie, a clip of the movie played in your head out of nowhere, a movie you hadn't seen in years. Or maybe something inside just says, don't trust him, walk away. So here's what it is. Empaths just look at the world like we're really good people. Now, we don't think that because we're always told we're bad by narcissists, but we trust people, we love people, we're giving, we're kind, we're honest, all that stuff. The problem is, that's the way we are, so we believe, well, everyone else is too. No, they are not, and that's the trick that trapped you with a narcissist. See, the challenge that most people have is we see the world the way that we see it, and for the life of us, we can't even fathom. I don't mean just empaths, but anybody. We can't fathom why someone wouldn't see it the way I see it, right? Oh God, when I was younger, I'd say, "Oh, you just gotta trust him." My friend's mom was like, "Michael, you can't trust people you don't know." So the biggest problem that empaths have is we have a really hard time believing that somebody would hurt you simply because you're different or simply because you're a good person. That is a concept that just I remember when my mom told me when I was 20 years old, she just looked at me, she goes, "The reason why we hate you is because she literally goes, you're so nice." Now, I didn't believe her. I literally was like, oh, I must have misunderstood something. I mean, this is after she told me the reason why we hate you is because you're so hardworking, you always achieve your goals, and she told me, well, the cops never had the knock on the door for you, you're always such a good person. And I'm thinking, what the hell? It didn't make any sense to me. And then she kind of cries out, and on top of it, you're nice. And I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, no, I must be misunderstanding this. Because the concept of my own mother and my brothers and sisters not liking me because I was a good person is such a bizarre... I didn't believe it. I don't even think it was that. I just thought I was... I literally thought, well, I just didn't understand my mom. I must be... And I remember asking her, well, what do you mean? And I remember her throwing her arms up going, oh, God. It's like she was telling me, but I didn't hear it. Because I couldn't believe that a human being would be like that. I went to my sister's the next day, my younger sister, my darling little angel sister. At least that's, in my eyes, that's the way she was. But man, that day when I went to her house, the next day was an eye-opener. She laughed. She was, oh yeah, we had a good laugh about that. I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't think you understand. She goes, no, Mom came over and told me everything. And we laughed, and you're such an idiot. But what are you talking? She goes, Michael, you don't get it. We hate you. I'm crying. I'm like, but why? What did I do? And she's like, well, you're nice and you work hard and you do all these good things for people. I remember my mom said, you would literally give the shirt off your back for a total stranger. And she said it with such disgust. And I'm like, well, what's wrong with that? So I'm going to cut to the chase. End of that conversation, my little sister literally said, I don't think you get it. You're here for us. We're not here for you. She goes, Michael, you're a slave in this lifetime. She goes, the sooner you accept that, the better off you'll do in this world. So I remember I walked out. I just was I was so shocked at what she said. But here's the thing, though. I really didn't think. I still didn't believe it. Oh God, I admit, man, in my 20s I was a dumbass, but I was at a point where I went through my first awakening and I was like, I got to get out of here. And I did. I moved away. Like, I already lived probably 15 minutes from her, but my mom lived right down the street about 3 blocks. So I ended up quietly just leaving, like, okay, I'm out. Clearly I'm not wanted, and I left. But I still couldn't believe it. I mean, I literally was like, they must have meant something, or they were in a bad mood that day, or I misunderstood, like literally, I just couldn't comprehend that somebody would be like that. Especially someone who had been there for their entire life, through thick and thin, no matter what, I was always there for her. And you know what? I had a friend from high school, at least I thought was a friend, and I literally, some guy was going to beat him up, and not just one guy, but like 3 guys, and I took on all these guys, and he just walked away, and I thought that was kind of weird, like, wow, he didn't help me, like, okay, that's weird. And I found out years later, I said that to someone, like, oh yeah, Joe hates you. I'm like, what are you talking about? He said, oh yeah, he can't stand you. I'm like, oh bullshit, what are you talking about? I like Joe. He's like, he doesn't like you. Well, there were some instances that came to pass. We had ran into each other after that, and it was a really heart-wrenching, shocking, like, whoa, like, this guy does not like, it was really hard to understand. So, as I learned about narcissist abuse, this is like even 2 decades after that, those incidences after high school, I look back now, I was like, oh, he's a total narcissist. Like, I see it now. So here's my point of sharing all that with you. We have a really, really hard time understanding that somebody isn't nice like us, that somebody isn't caring and nurturing and empathetic. Like, we just everybody does this, and narcissists do it in the reverse way. One of the reasons why narcissists are going out of the way to piss you off, to hurt you, to like lie, to just play games with you, is they're trying to get you to get pissed off and then do bad things to them, and then they can feel good and be like, yeah, see, everyone's a bad person, it's not just me. See, they think that your natural way of just being loving, kind, nurturing, honest, just, helping people. Like, when you help someone in front of them, they think it's an act. They cannot, for the life of them, understand, why would somebody be nice to someone that they don't know? Why would he give money to someone that he doesn't know? Like, why would they, like their brain, they literally cannot comprehend this. And I'm not trying to be mean. I literally mean it in the way that I looked at my mother and my younger sister. Like, I was like, oh, I must misunderstand them. Like, there's no way a human being would say that. A brother and a mother would say that, or a sister and a mother would say that to their son and their brother. It's people that I've been there for through thick and thin and would do anything for. So the purpose of sharing that with you is human beings in general just don't see things from other people's perspective. Now, that was a very hard thing for me, because as an empath, that's our whole thing. That's what we do. We see everything from other people's perspectives. We literally take on their body language and their energy, and we feel what they're See, we're like the opposite of the majority of people. Like, we literally take it on to the extent that we absorb it. So here's the lesson that I learned with the last narcissist. It was like, for the first time in my life, I got it. It was like, no matter how nice I was, no matter how much, hey, let's, what's going on? Let's talk. It didn't matter what I did. That person was out to destroy me. Period. End of sentence. And that was really the awakening for me. When I went through that, and then I flashed back on all the things that happened to me, from getting hit in the head with a baseball bat, a hammer, stabbed in my sleep, I mean, you name it. I'm like, holy shit. They did that shit on purpose. They were trying to destroy me. That day when I was talking to my mother that I brought up earlier, she literally said, she goes, how did she say this? She said, our entire lives, all we ever did was try to destroy you. I'm like, what do you mean? My family was mean to me, and I mean fucking mean. Excuse my language, but it was insane. And she goes, no matter what we did, you just bounced right back, and you went off and won another trophy, another championship, got straight A's. Like, she was like, nothing stopped you. And my sister the next day said the same thing with exhaustion, just like that. And then she says, when your best friend Marlon died, she goes, that was the first opportunity we had to get you while you were down. And I remember looking at her like, what do you mean get me while I was down? She goes, oh, Michael, you fell apart when Marlon died, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, well, yeah. I go, that's why, I came home so I could, heal and get over it. And I thought you guys were going to be there for me. She starts laughing, literally like a witch. She goes, oh, we did it. She goes, I can't, well, didn't quite go like this, but essentially it was, we went after you. We did everything in our power to destroy you. And you know what? I still didn't get it. Here's the deal. I bet there's a lot of you who had unbelievable shit happen to you. I had a guy stab me in high school, a guy that I never met. And someone pointed him out one day and said, yeah, it was like the Monday or Tuesday after. Yeah, that's the guy. And I walked right up to him. Now, he was like, oh, shit, thinking he's going to get his ass kicked. And I just gave him a big old hug and said, hey, don't worry about it. It's all good. It's all cool. And I said, hey, if you ever need any help, you let me know and I'll get your back. And I remember walking away. He was like confused. Now, here's what I'm trying to tell you. I bet a lot of you have had things like this happen, and you just forgave the person. You looked the other way, acted like it never happened. Do not do that. Because that's why you keep getting hurt. But there's something much, much deeper than that. That's really important to understand about God and the Spirit and how to open up to God. This is really important. And a lot of you never, ever understood this. So here's the first lesson. This is the lesson that you have to finally understand. These are demonic narcissists. They will destroy you. Period. That's their job. The hardest thing for an empath to do is to actually understand that. And that's what you don't understand. One of the messages I was going to leave with you, because this is what narcissists do. They will keep trying to come back. The goal and the absolute purpose with absolute clarity is to suck you back in, do the love bombing, and get you to open your heart again to purposely stab it even deeper, to wound you even worse. And if that doesn't work, they're going to wait a few months, few weeks, few whatever, and then they're going to come back. They're going to buy you gifts. They're going to buy you a gym membership. They're going to do this. They're going to do that to get you to open up to them again and let them back into your heart. And again, each time you do this, they're going in for the kill. This is what you have to understand. They're trying to kill you emotionally. Here's why. And this is the second part, the second learning. You have an inner child inside you. You have a spirit inside you. This inner child is the intercessory to God, so to speak. This is the open door to God. This is why Jesus says to look within. If you don't protect that inner child, see, the inner child is a very sensitive part of you, your right brain, your emotions, and your feelings. If you do not protect it from people that purposely hurt you, it will close up, which means you are disconnected from God. It's all about opening your heart. This is the way you open the door to God, door to Spirit. That's why all these intellectual people, these logical people, like Ricky Gervais, I love him to death, but it's like, come on, man, like, get over it, okay? Like, you got to ask yourself, why does he, and then what's that scientist I put on here once in a while, Neil deGrasse Tyson? I can't tell you how many interviews, how many times, even shows that they do, I don't believe in God, God's not real, blah, 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 blah. He's been doing this for years, and so is Ricky Gervais. And it always blows me away, whether it's someone who works at the grocery store. It's like, well, why do you care? Like, look, Okay. If I don't believe in something, I don't talk about it. I mean, like, well, why would I talk about something that I don't believe? It makes no, and I'm going to use their terminology. It makes, and their way of thinking. It makes no logical sense. It also makes no right brain common sense. I just saw a video clip of Ricky Gervais talking, "Oh, God's not real, blah blah blah," making fun of it. This is just last night. And also another one of Neil deGrasse Tyson. There's another clip of him talking about God and how it's unreal and blah blah blah. And it's funny because Ricky Gervais, he made an entire comedy show around this. And I'm like, for someone who doesn't believe in God, he sure does spend a whole lot of time talking about God. I mean, a whole lot of time. I mean, he's literally made it his profession. This has been integrated into his actual job. I should probably make a list of things that I just don't believe in. And then just start putting them out there and be like, why would I talk about that? Like, let's take Santa Claus. I know I've brought this up before, but I mean, I don't talk about Santa Claus at all, like ever. Do you know what else I don't do? I don't go up to people who believe in Santa Claus, even if they're 10 years old. I don't go, well, that's just not logical. If you think about it, blah, 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 that's just insane. You really think he flies in a sled and has reindeer? But I just don't Could you imagine me arguing about that? That would be ridiculous. So here's the question: why do these people, not just Ricky and Neil, but people that you know downtown or at the store, why do they go out of their way and constantly bring this subject up? Like, who gives a shit? You told us what you believe. Thank you very much. Now move on. Get a life. But wait, there's more. They don't have a life. And they know it. And now they're trying to take your life away. Your spirit. So now let's wrap this up all the way back to where we started this. You need to understand, narcissists are trying to destroy your heart, your love. They're trying to stab you so hard that it tightens up and that chakra closes off to God, that your emotional system closes the door, just like a narcissist. Because their goal is to disconnect you from God. That is their purpose, to destroy you. And I know a lot of you went through that dark phase for 2 years or more, maybe even 3 or 4, where you felt disconnected from God. Well, yeah, they hurt you emotionally. Your inner self, your inner child, whatever psychology term you want to use, got hurt so bad and so often, it literally closed off and said, hey, if you're not going to protect me, I have to close this door. And that's what happened. You have to learn self-love. Self-love means self-protection. It means if you get hurt by people, don't let them do it again. Period. The first will be last and the last will be first. You were open from the very beginning. If a narcissist can get you to close up at the very end, well, you don't get to go to heaven, or you don't get to go on to the next wonderful experience. Does the Bible not say, does Jesus not say, the Lord resides within the temple? And does Jesus not go on further to say, the body is the temple of the Lord? So what if that meant your job is to protect that inner spirit so it can be in a safe environment so it can open up to God? See, when that emotion, that inner spirit, I'm going to say this, God is sensitive emotionally. So you have to create an inner environment of love and nurturing through self-love, which again is self-protection, walking away from anybody that's mean to you, that hurts you. Meditation. Back off the caffeine. I'm telling you, you can have some, but just a little bit. Deep breathing until you relax. 5-10 minutes of deep breathing techniques. Taking a hot Epsom salt bath. Throwing some lavender oil. Here's all I'm saying. Number one, know that a narcissist's number one goal is to destroy you. Once you identify someone that has hurt you, get rid of them. Even if they're not a narcissist, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because here's the deal. When you disrespect yourself, you're disrespecting God. Just like this thing says, you disrespect yourself when you rekindle a relationship that humiliated you. Forgiveness is one thing, but you have to have boundaries. See, boundaries, the Great Wall of China, means you're creating an environment where your internal spirit, where the Spirit of God can coexist, where you can stay open to connect with God. That is the secret. That's why narcissists are always trying to create fear states and doubt and confusion, because doubt and confusion are forms of fear. And that's what gaslighting does. It confuses your brain. It makes you like you have no foundation, and that puts you in a panic state. You begin to hyperventilate. Fear closes the door and love opens the door. That's the secret. You are nurturing yourself. That self is God. The inner child, the inner being, the inner spirit is either God or is the connector or connection to God. See, you know what you're ultimately doing? You're loving God. You're loving God inside you. And here's what happens when you do this. This inner child, this Spirit of God will open up to you. Let me tell you what happened to me. When I walked away, when I literally said no more and I put the Great Wall of China up, I started cutting people out of my life. And let me tell you something. Something inside, I am telling you, for the first time in my life, there was this something like almost jumped up and burst out in joy. My self-esteem went through the roof. It was the weirdest thing in the world. And I reflected back on my neighbors, the two girls that lived across the street. Her mom and grandmother would tell me, Michael, if somebody treats you bad, walk away from them. But I was like, I don't want, number one, I don't want to hurt their feelings. And number two is like, well, I want them to like me because I felt like my value relied on whether they approved of me or liked me. And that's not true at all. I am telling you, my confidence went through the roof. And I've been a completely different person since. It's the best thing that I've ever done in my life. All the therapy in the world, and I've been to a lot of it, a lot of different kinds of techniques and therapeutics, etc. All of that didn't even compare in a morsel in comparison to the self-esteem and confidence that just went through the roof when I walked away. It was weird because it was like I didn't do this, and I felt weird doing it. I felt like on the one hand, there's a sense of fear and am I doing the right thing? But on the other hand, it was like, I don't know how to, it was like this warm, loving happiness inside that was kind of like almost moving around. It was literally like a little child, like a little infant, a baby that was just smiling and giggling. And for the first time in my life, it was happy. It wasn't just happy. You know what? I'm trying to explain something that I think you're going to have to experience for yourself. It's like when you create that Great Wall of China, you're creating an environment where this little being can finally open up, let go, and connect. And here's the thing, that inner child is now beginning to trust you, and now you guys have this communication door that's open. Do you understand? This little inner being needs you to say no to people. You need to say no. You need to hang up the phone. You need to block them. You need to walk away. Because when that door opens up, your intuition goes through the roof. Because this is how you gain your intuition. This is what intuition is all about. You creating an environment where the inner child realizes, okay, this person is going to look out for me, is going to do their best to create an environment where people aren't constantly attacking me. And now it starts to open up to you. There is a level of trust that begins to happen. And you suddenly start to sense and notice your gut feeling like, oh, I got a bad feeling about this person. No, it's time to walk away. It's like you start to listen to yourself. I'm going to share with you a quick story. I really don't want to go into depth. But it's something that has shifted inside me. It was like a lesson that I finally learned that. And the funny thing is, I didn't even know this was a lesson that I was supposed to learn. So I'm in California at the Bay Area, just north of San Francisco by about 15 minutes. And I go to this Walgreens once in a while, and I went in there about a week ago. And the guy that works, I've known him for 10 years. He lives in my neighborhood, and he goes, yeah, these guys come in every week and they steal stuff. I'm like, dude, people steal stuff here all the time. Like, homeless people walk in with a bag in each hand, they fill them up and walk out. They even say bye, they're very nice about it. So this in and of itself was very disturbing. Well, he's telling me there's these two guys that they come in and they do the same thing. And I'm like, yeah, like everyone does it. Like, what's the big deal? Well, I didn't quite understand it. Somehow they got the key to those little plastic things that they close for the expensive items. Well, apparently there's a universal key, so they got a copy of it somehow from somewhere, probably another city, someone that works at one of the stores. And so they come in and they load up, and I mean load up on all the expensive stuff. And we're talking, they're probably walking out with $2,000, $3,000 each of stuff. Now here's the deal. This was really upsetting to me. Like, this was real. I'm like, dude, they're going to close this store down. Like, you guys can't. And they've been doing this every week for months. I go, dude, your store is going to get closed down. It kind of sucks because it's local. It's right, not too far away. I can walk there from here. So I was really mad when it happened. When I was there, I go, call the cops, do this, do that. And I ran outside, and a cop just happened to be pulling up, and I waved him in. Well, he didn't do nothing. And the guys were, I go, that's them. They were running out of the door. And he goes, okay, well, I'll go talk to the manager. And I'm like, get him right now. He goes, oh, I can't do that. I'm like, what? He goes, the manager's got to press charges. So if I do anything without them press charges, I can get in trouble. I'm like, But you saw them. He goes, I didn't actually see them steal it. Yeah, I can see that their shirts are stuffed with stuff. He goes, I can't do anything until the manager wants to press charges. If not, I can't do anything at all. Well, we're walking, taking our sweet ass time, and they're gone. And of course, the manager says, no, I don't want to press charges. It's store policy, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, can you believe that? It's because of the laws in California. They're too afraid of getting sued. But that's going to change, I think, in January 2025. So that's going to change real fast. Gavin Newsom realized this new law he made about, I think it was 3 years ago, did the opposite of what he thought it was going to do. Crime went through the roof. So when they were there, I was actually saying, hey, that's enough, guys. You can go. Because if I do anything, I can get in trouble too. So I literally at one point I said, you know what, I'm going to pray for you. And it was the one guy, I literally go, I'm going to pray. I'll go, I'm not kidding. I'm not being a smart ass. I go, I'm literally going to pray for you. But when I went home, something in my solar plexus just was tight and it was dark and oh God, I couldn't stand it. And then it happened again 2 nights ago, and then I couldn't sleep, and I had this dark feeling. I just, it was tight, and I realized what it was. It was their fear. Like, their level of fear was through the roof. So I realized, like, oh, this is what they're going through. And as I reflect back, like, oh, they're like in a full panic mode. They're afraid something's going to happen. I mean, they're in absolute state of fear. But here's the funny thing. Taking on their energy, I got to know them. And there's this one of the guys, like, how do I explain this? I want to pull him aside and have a conversation with him. No, not a holier than thou and a Christian looking down on thee and judgmental. No, just like, hey man, hey, let's talk, and you're going down a dark path, and let's see if we can figure something out here. Now, this just happened for the third time in my experience. It's been happening before, but this just happened 2 nights ago. And I was really angry. Like, I wanted to find a way to get these guys arrested, blah, blah, blah. And everyone in the store, even the cops, like, hey, there's nothing I can do. So I went out of the store before he did, and I went around because I figured out the time before where he parked his car behind this building at the other side of the parking lot. So I went back there waiting to see which car he would get in. Okay, and I even took a video of it when he drove off. And I just went home, and I had that thing in my gut, and I was just like, and I just thought something changed. There was like a realization of, Mike, it's not your job to stop them. It's not your job to anything, not even to judge them. And I'm not saying this, I'm a Christian, I'm not supposed to judge. That is not what I mean. It was like an emotional release. Because I had so much, I don't even think it was my anger. It was their fear. It was there was a sense of anger, like this is just wrong. Maybe that was my anger. You know what I realized? Nothing I do is going to stop this. And not only that, but legally, I'm not allowed to do anything. Not in the state of California anyways. And I just thought, man, it would be really cool if I could talk to that one guy. Just sit him down, like, hey man, no judgment, and I'm not going to call the cops. Like, literally, like, let's just talk. But you know what? I think the real big lesson for me is just letting it go. Like, hey, this isn't your job. You're not supposed to do this. The laws are made a certain way. And there's something that is playing out that I have no control of. And I don't mean it like that. It's like, this is supposed to play out. That's what I'm saying. I was supposed to learn to let go. And it's not just that, but it's like, because it hurt. It was a pain. It was a fear. It was anger. And it's like now, I know it's going to sound funny, but it's like replaced with almost joy of watching this whole scenario play out. And not get mad, not get angry, not get worried. You know, I was always that guy. I always felt like I had to protect people. And I will protect people, but this really isn't or even a protect. It is, but it's not. No one is physically in harm. The store is probably going to close down and all those people are going to have to find a new job. You know what I think it is? I think it's more than anything. It's almost like I'm letting go of the anger towards this person. And I have faith. It's like it's kind of like the inner child thing. It's like no, I'm not going to carry these negative emotions because that's closing me off from God. And the joy came back. That's what it is. Like when I let that go, the joy came back. You know what else it is? It's forgiveness. It's like not saying, "Oh, I forgive you." It's not like that. There's no ego involved. It's just, you know what I think forgiveness is? It's letting it go. With zero judgment. That's what it is. And it feels good. So, here's the deal. If you're not there yet, I promise you, you are on your way. This kid, this young man, they're probably about 26 years old, maybe a little older. Man, did they teach me one hell of a lesson. And I mean, you know how they say you should thank these people that hurt you or did bad? And, you know, I never liked that when people would say that. I logically understood it, but emotionally, Now I do. Now here's the deal. I realized I can forgive all these other people now. That doesn't mean you let mean people back. You would disrespect yourself when you rekindle a relationship that humiliated you. Now remember, it's that inner child that you're disrespecting, even God. It's God and or that inner being, your inner spirit, that's feeling that humiliation which will close the door. So that doesn't mean you just let these people come running back. So here's another thing. I've got some neighbors. They're really cool guys. We call them the twins. They're young guys or twins. They're in their 20s. I don't know, 25, maybe a little older. And I kind of talked to one of them once or twice or three times. Then today I just completely had a conversation with this guy. Like, this guy is really cool. Like, really, really good energy. The reason why I say that, because a lot of neighbors are like, yeah, that's the twins. Like, people don't know what to think of them. But they're actually pretty good guys. And the reason why I share that is because this experience at Walgreens, this whole learning, it allowed me to completely open up to one of the twins and just be there and just listen to what he's saying. You know what? I don't know how to explain what I'm experiencing right now. It's that word you hear a lot in church, or you hear a lot with spiritual people. It's joyful. I remember for many years, like, you hear the, oh, it's joyful, blah, blah, like I didn't feel it. But I didn't know because you don't know until you truly experience that sense of joyfulness. You know what? I'm growing up. All these things we've heard all these years, whether it was from church, football coach, a book, psychology class, some famous writer, they got this quote, I'm finally there. Hey, God bless you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is Mike Kollin at MikeKollin.com. And remember, this is the Church of Awesome. If you like this video, please go ahead and subscribe, click the like button, make a comment, and if you want, you can leave a donation right there in the description box. There's a PayPal link right there. God bless you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.